Good evening, I'm Dan Rather, and tonight on CBS News.
In a shocking development, the federal government says being broke is allowed, but if you're broke and glowing, you are officially now a suspect.
You can't be glowing more than your financial status. Look your problem.
Producers have confirmed next season of Love Island will merge with the Hunger Games. Only one couple will survive the new format. Everyone else dies.
Senator Buck Nutley has unveiled his Big Girthy Bill, a new proposal meant to rival the Big Beautiful Bill. But does size really matter?
The shocking trend of Labubu violation continues as more and more people are finding their dolls' holes stretched wide open and reeking of shame.
If you thought Bigfoot was bad, wait till you meet his gooey cousin. A kumsquatch was just spotted in Dongwood National Forest.
Did you know IKEA has released a home glory hole kit called the Fuke Hole? It includes pre-drilled panels, mounting brackets, and a stain-proof finish. We begin with breaking news out of Massachusetts, where residents are reeling from what scientists are calling a cum-comet impact.
Officials are asking everyone to stay indoors and to wear N95 masks in case of cum aerolization.
We have breaking news. A laser-guided ship missile has just been launched from Rectomopolis, reportedly targeting Pennsylvania.
We're live from the scene where a laser-guided ship missile launched from Rectomopolis has struck Pennsylvania. This just in, a pubnadal blankets St. Louis in a thick bush this evening.
Downtown is completely covered in pubic hair, causing highways to close out of caution.
It's coming right for us. We need to get out of here now. Oh my God, it's taking the houses.
A massive gizzard has buried Kamlambus in 2 feet of donglode. Locals blame the lack of preparation on Mayor Linda P. Slurp.
The city of Columbus is reeling today after an unprecedented event. What officials are calling a gizzard has left downtown streets. Customs officials at Orbital Port 69 have seized over 420 stolen jork blades, many still warm and dripping. A magnitude 6.9 queefquake rattled Clamlip Valley this morning, releasing a torrent of pussy farts. The children's reading session of This Little Piggy Got Pegged has been cancelled, with parents saying the book is too anatomically detailed for kids.
Lawmakers remain deadlocked on the Big Beautiful Bill, with some saying $10 billion more is needed for fleshlights and robo-cooters for dudes on dry spells.
Los Angeles, because she served her fried chicken instead of a quinoa salad.
Megan Mayonnaise went to the restaurant called The Last Supper, where she claims she was flabbergasted that they would serve her fried chicken when she in fact ordered a quinoa salad. Ms. Mayonnaise said waitress Sharkeisha Trinity knowingly gave her fried chicken, although Ms. Mayonnaise pleaded that she didn't want to eat any urban food. We have Ms. Mayonnaise along with her attorney, Roger Banger. Can you explain how you were feeling, Ms. Mayonnaise?
I told Sharkeisha Trinity 300 times, let me speak with your manager. And she just kept twerking, sticking her tongue out and laughing at me.
We have exclusive CCTV footage from the restaurant of Miss Mayonnaise and Sharkeisha's fried chicken confrontation.
Miss Mayonnaise is suing Sharkeisha Trinity for everything she got, which is 3 deadbeat fathers and $100 in unpaid child support.
We need your $80,000 down payment now.
Can I do 6 child support checks, 1 EBT card, 10 Section 8 credits, and 2 Medicaid payments?
We take it all.
Welcome back to White News Network. I'm your host, Kimberly Kumquat. Today, the BFI released documents that claim no special files exist from that one famous island. Wink, wink. The BFI director said, quote unquote, although you've seen plenty of known people at that island, no American people, you were just seeing shit. The BFI office also released perfectly edited 24-hour surveillance footage of that jail cell where the main guy in charge was being held. At this point, these guys are playing in our face. Most of you are too blind to see it.
Welcome back, folks, to the White News Network. I'm your host, Tom Blandley, and tonight a white woman is leaving her husband after trying a YN. HOA President Skylar White told WNN she is filing for divorce because, quote unquote, after trying a YN, you never go back. Her husband, Kevin White, owner of Proud Boys Country Club, says he is devastated by the news and that it is, quote unquote, total malarkey. The divorce hearing is set for July 13th at Cornbread District Family Court. If Mrs. White wins, she will be entitled to half of his shit that she never worked for. Next up, rock star Roger Bang-Her has already impregnated 3 women on his Fuckfest tour. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Want to do some totally unnecessary shit like mountain jump with a fly suit on? Then head over to whitepeopleshit.com.
Whitepeopleshit.com.
Swim with sharks, it's a blast. Make memories that last.
Whitepeopleshit.com.
All right, all right, all right. Let's do some news, man. Let's do some news. All right. What's this in the chat? Yo, what up, Kwame? Yo, what up, Kwame? What up, Gail? What up, No News? How y'all shuffling up in here? All right, it's a Saturday, man. I think we're gonna have Demon Time next Saturday. I talked to Mr. O and Irvin. We working on that reboot, so News Desk. We might have Demon Time instead of News Desk next Saturday. Sunday show tomorrow, you guys know. But let's get at the top of this. And I think I got a crypto section for us tonight too. So you know Trump's got these proposed peace talks with Putin. And this one is why Trump won't be taken to the cleaners by Putin. Putin been playing hardball since Zelensky threw a fit in the Oval Office. But let's go.
Now revealing that President Trump may soon be sitting down with Putin himself at Putin's request.
Hopefully, if things continue to progress, an opportunity will present itself very soon for the president to meet both with Vladimir Putin and with President Zelensky at some point here, hopefully in the near future.
And joining us now, Fox News contributor, host of the Hugh Hewitt Show, the one and only Hugh Hewitt. So, Hugh, let's get right to it. It's the two men at the table. It's the poker table of politics, and it's a dangerous game. Trump, Putin together. Putin asked for it. That's what the Secretary of State said. What do you think going forward? Does this really happen? Because I got to tell you, I'm skeptical when it comes to Putin.
I'm very skeptical, David, when it comes to Putin. Many presidents have tried to deal with Putin. President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, they got nowhere because he is, as Dick Cheney said, a KGB colonel at heart. However, I'm done underestimating Donald Trump. Given the last 6 months and all he's gotten done, I'm not going to underestimate his ability to bring home a deal that ends the Ukraine.
Well played, sir. I'm glad somebody's done underestimating Trump. Yeah, his ability to bring home a deal. Let's see how it goes. Like I was saying before, they were actually already close to a deal. Zelensky blew up in the White House, and I think that switched the entire calculus of the negotiations.
Ukrainian war. The Iranians underestimated Donald Trump, and the B-2 showed up over their nuclear sites. So I think Donald Trump wants to go meet with Putin. He's probably the most formidable leader in the West by a lot. So if he sits down with Putin, maybe the sanctions on India woke up Putin to the fact his black market oil is going to dry up. Its market is going to go away pretty soon, and it will lead to a deal. But as President Zelensky said today, everything with Putin is about follow through. He might promise the world, but he is a KGB colonel. He's a spy. He's a killer.
No News, please tell me you got the debanking executive order on deck. Yep, got it on deck, man. Got it on deck. I got that on deck. And then Kwame, actually, you and Kwame thinking alike. Kwame sent me Osmond Gold reviewing the executive order. So we're going to do a twofer. I'm going to pull up the order. We're going to look at it. And then we're going to get Osmond's reaction to it. So, yeah, well played, gentlemen.
He's a very tough man. So Donald Trump will not get taken to the cleaners by him. So I'm hopeful it happens because I'd like to see the Ukrainian war come to an end. But I am like you. I'm very wary of the dictator in Russia.
President Trump was asked about it at the Apple event today, and he said something. He said there was a good talks with President Putin today. There was a very good chance that we could be ending the end of the rat road, that bad road. But there's a very good chance there will be a meeting very soon after. So we'll see. Now,
reminds me what Churchill said, Dagan. It's not the end of the game, it's the end of the beginning. And so we've gotten to the end of the beginning, and I think that's a good place to be with Putin, but very warily.
But President Trump understands that our energy is our greatest sword and our greatest shield, and energy.
Yo, what up, Universal Black? I got a crypto segment for you tonight. I got a CNBC analyst. I I didn't know this, saying that Bitcoin's pretty much performed the S&P all year so far. So yeah, crypto segment's gonna look something like
Off by a star.
all right, let's go.
Security is national security and also foreign policy. So turning to this, Israel-Hamas, the war. Secretary Rubio says more focus needs to be put on the hostages still being held by Hamas in Gaza. Listen to this.
There's a lot of attention being paid to the humanitarian, and we want to do everything we can to be helpful on the humanitarian problem, but not enough attention being paid to the fact that 20 people that had nothing to do with this are being held hostage in tunnels on the verge of death, and no real talk about how Hamas needs to be disarmed and disbanded.
And that was a point he made, that Hamas must be dismantled if there's ever going to be peace going forward.
He's right, Dagan. I have a column in the Washington Examiner today that is very blunt. President Macron of France is an accomplice of Hamas, as is every world leader who calls on Israel to do anything other than demand the release of their hostages. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Israel time, the Security Cabinet is going to meet, and I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu will emerge in order to the IDF to occupy all of Gaza. It's very dangerous for the hostages, but they're dying in real time, and we've seen the videos of them being starved to death and digging their own grave. As someone said, Hamas is not just a terrorist organization, it's a sadistic, the most sadistic terrorist organization we've ever seen. They are bringing all this harm and injury on the people of Gaza. They have got the 20 hostages. They could end the war tomorrow. But if they will not do so, Israel saw with its own eyes, we saw with our own eyes, Secretary Rubio mentioned it, these people are dying in those tunnels. So the IDF is going to do what it has to do to try and save them, and at the same time eliminate Hamas. And I believe President Macron, Prime Minister Starmer, Prime Minister Carney, all these people who acted like morons when they said recognize a Palestinian state, basically told Hamas they were winning. They're not winning. Donald Trump's not going to let them win. Benjamin Netanyahu is not going to let them win. They're going to try and get those hostages back, and the focus ought to be on the hostages.
Amen. Amen, sir.
Absolutely needs to be. Let's move on to this, Hugh. You're calling on Trump and his team to address the abuse of the Endangered Species Act. It's harming a lot of our people in America, a lot of our businesses, especially our farmers.
Farmers, ranchers, people who want to build homes and apartments. The reason we have a housing shortage in many parts of the country is the Endangered Species Act. That column for FoxNews.com was part 1 of 2. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to lay out 3 executive orders I hope President Trump issues. One is to remove all the bogus species and subspecies from the list. When it was first published in 1973, there were 78 endangered species or subspecies. Today, there are 1,300. Most of them have been listed on a bogus criteria of projected future decline in their habitat. Just guesswork, it's not science. Second, compensate the property owners whose property is taken by these designations. When you get an endangered species designated on your property, you can't do anything to it. Crime to disturb them, even to nudge them a little bit. And then third, reduce the 9,000 bureaucrats at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service dramatically. Bring in new people who understand that the Fifth Amendment protects property rights. He can do it all with Doug Burgum and the new director of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I'm hoping that he does.
I was smiling because that column, you've never had that quick a response from people, because folks, sea to shining sea, have had to deal with this. Family members of mine have had to deal with this.
You're right. Down in Florida, they got a lot of it.
Yeah, I didn't know they were using the Endangered Species Act to take people's land. I didn't know that. Similar to how they were using eminent domain earlier in the century, and using eminent domain to take a lot of black people's land. Oh, quiet storm in the building. I wasn't even watching the chat. I'm up here lining up my next play. Quiet Storm says, we in here, hashtag replay gang. studying for the PCA. FOU, hashtag FOU hoes, hashtag Keisha Boot Camp. And I'll find a Keisha Boot Camp drop for you. But in the meantime,
man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all you hoes.
I can give you this drop though.
All right, Jakifa KFC Ida, I heard you're looking for a new car today.
You know your girl needs a new ride.
Well, we do not accept EBT, so get the fuck out.
Why am I thing freezing?
Denzel, before you leave, can you hit us off with that King Kong line?
King Kong, I'm putting cases on all you. Can you curse on? You can't curse on it, can you?
No, you can't.
I'm putting cases. You'll be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get shoot program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. You think you can do this to me, Shaq? You think you can do this to me?
All right, Quiet Storm want me to drop one for Gail.
Yo, kids, they need to know I'm here to fuck you. I don't wanna know your name, yo, kids, they need to know I'm here to fuck you. Get the fuck on, ain't no shame. I'm here to fuck. 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 Watch this bridge, y'all. I'm here to
fuck. Yo, we in the building. All right, cool. Yo, good luck. Good luck, Storm. Brothers really doing it up big in Theo's class, man. They drop asserts left and right. Like I said yesterday, a brother just got a job offer for $175K, and I didn't know this. Quiet Storm told me. My man took the exam I'm studying for, the SAA. Quiet Storm took it a couple times. And he's still waiting for a passing score. I'm studying for it. And like Theo was telling me, like, yo, don't worry about failing it. And that's important because the brother with the $175K job offer yesterday took the SAA 8 times and failed. So I needed to hear that yesterday. Theo doing great things, man. All right, let's get back to this. Yeah, well, I was saying, this Endangered Species Act, man. I didn't know they were using it to take people's land. And at the same time, the EPA, the agency, has grown like 4 times in size in terms of employees. So that's just government growing, while at the same time stifling expansion and growth in the American economy and penalizing our agricultural sector.
Endangered species out in California, we have the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly, the Stevens kangaroo rat, the California gnatcatcher. People can't build homes, and we need to build homes and apartments. I know it makes you crazy, and I practice law, and I'm retired from that now. For 27 years with these bureaucrats, they're not scientists, they're environmental activists, and President Trump and Secretary Burgum have got to put an end to it.
Love you, Hugh Hewitt. Good to see you.
All right, bet. All right, let's jump to our next segment. Gail said you got this, guys. Hell yeah. Come on, StreamYard. I know that. I know there's everybody on tonight. Saturday. Yo, one thing about this channel, we got the late night popping. I know Angry Man used to go on all the time late at night, but We made the late night pop. Shout out to us. All right, let's do let's do the from the editor at large section. Saul sent me this, and then I'll tie in No News's hold on, share. I'll tie in No News's executive order, and then we'll parlay to Osmond going over it. Let's go. All right, this is our editor at large section, courtesy of Saul. And this one is Stephen A. Smith calls out Dems like AOC and Jasmine Crockett as a bad look for the face of the party. In the general election, you are going to fail if you are anti-America, if you are anti-capitalism, the ESPN host said. And do we get a piece of a soundbite?
I don't agree with everything that he's done, but I'm not going to castigate him and talk about him like and call him everything but a child of God, like some of our politicians on Capitol Hill are doing, thinking that that's going to work to the benefit of the Democratic Party. When you listen to Jasmine Crockett or an AOC and the way they talk about them, even an Elizabeth Warren to a lesser degree or what have you, the Republicans are having a field day. They like, put them up on the screen. Let's show them. They plaster them all over the place, especially Mamdani. That's not an order today, just like you pointed. Why? Because they know that even though New York might go for him, the America won't. And in a general election, you are going to fall if you are anti-America, if you are anti-capitalism, and you want to embrace extreme leftism and socialism. But they want you scared to say that. You're not scared. You're not scared. And I can assure you, I could give less than a damn. I ain't scared.
Okay, Stephen.
Let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord. Let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
All right, but let's read some of this. This is once again courtesy of Saul. He says ESPN host Stephen A. Smith blasted the Democratic Party on Real Time on Friday for spotlighting progressive candidates like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, whose real name is Sandy, a Democrat from New York, and Representative Crockett. What the hell? God damn it. Where was I at? The Republicans having a field day with all of the coverage these progressive Democrats are receiving. Smith contended that while he may not agree with everything President Donald Trump is currently doing, he asserted that some Democrats on Capitol Hill have taken their rhetoric about the president too far and that their antics will not work to the benefit of the Democratic Party. When you listen to Jasmine Crockett or AOC and the way they talk about them, even the Elizabeth Warren to a lesser degree or what have you, the Republicans are having a field day, he stated. They're like, put them up on the screen. Let's show them. They plaster them all over the place. That's a funny sentence. The ESPN host then turned his attention to NYC mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani, noting that while New Yorkers might vote for him, America won't. In a general election, you are going to fall if you are anti-America, if you are anti-capitalism, and you want to embrace extreme leftism and socialism, he argued. Smith stated that they want you scared to say that you're not scared and assured the audience that he's not afraid to challenge progressives like Ocasio-Cortez, Crockett, or Mamdani. Talk show host Dr. Phil was also on the show's panel, chimed in agreeing with Smith's take that Americans are no longer scared of voicing their political beliefs. That is factual. All right, cool. Let's do this then. Let's knock this one out since we're doing. Well, here it is. Since we're doing editor at large, let me pull up this executive order by Trump. Bingo. So No News sent me this. And I'm actually going to read through some of it, but I actually have a segment with Osmond. I think Kwame Kaiju sent it to me. What's this? Stephen F. says, really trying to put in his bid. Yeah, he is, but he's still a fence sitter. I think either somebody pulls his coat because he's like Charlemagne. He sound good one moment, and then when backed in the corner, he starts spewing the old by the book rhetoric. He's a sportscaster. He's not to be taken seriously as a political pundit. He'd be better served by someone far more serious. So this was sent to me by No News. This is a executive order. Presidential actions guaranteeing fair banking for all Americans. We're just going to read a piece of this, and then I'm going to jump to the Osmond clip. We're going over some of this. This is by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States. It is hereby ordered. Section 1 purpose. Financial institutions have engaged in unacceptable practices to restrict law-abiding individuals and businesses access to financial services on the basis of political or religious beliefs or lawful business activities. And this is with regard to the debanking via the cancel culture that was going on during the Biden administration. A lot of people were debanked. And actually, Andrew Tate became the poster child for that. Some financial institutions participated in government-directed surveillance programs targeting persons participating in activities and causes commonly associated with conservatism and the political right following the events that occurred at or near the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. The federal government suggested that such institutions flag individuals who made transactions related to companies like Cabela's and the Bass Pro Shop, or who made peer-to-peer payments, that's crypto, that involved terms like Trump or MAGA, even though there was no specific evidence tying those individuals to criminal conduct. Bank regulators have used supervisory scrutiny and other influence over regulated banks to direct or otherwise encourage politicized or unlawful debanking activities. All right. So that's the actual executive order that was signed. And let's go over Osmond actually reviewing some of the order. Because that plays to some of us in the space also, because that same line of reasoning could have at some point, especially with the growth of manosphere content creators, we started seeing weird stuff happening on YouTube too. That could have ended up being played out with content creators here on YouTube. Like if you were making manosphere content, all of a sudden you couldn't get your AdSense and stuff like that. Serious business. So, and it was happening with gamers. So let's listen to Osmond going over some of this banking bill to get the broad sweep of social media and content creators and gamers impact of this bill.
Trump is the only president and is the first president to put gamers first.
President Trump just signed a new executive order, and it could be the biggest news for gamers who haven't heard yet. Games are being censored, not by Steam though,
That's right.
but by the banks that handle the money. This new executive order is the first legal step in stopping this. Recently, if you haven't heard, some games were removed from the Steam store, but
That's
this
right.
wasn't because
A
of
lot
a
of them.
bug or a developer's choice. Instead, it happened because a big payment company
Buffering, come on, man.
like MasterCard decided that a few games were a reputational risk. This is a vague rule that lets them pressure a company like Steam to remove any games they don't like. As a result, the banks that handle the money for Steam got involved
And some of this rolls over with content creators getting demonetized and stuff over on social media platforms too.
Creating a chain of pressure.
Well, they create the chain. They don't do it directly. They do it through middlemen so they can avoid being directly accountable. Will he also allow gamer words to be used again? His final executive order at the end of his term will be legally mandating the allowance of the F word again. You're going to be able to call your friends the F word, and you're going to be able to call anybody the F word.
To the games actually being removed. This is a big deal because it shows that a third-party company that handles the money, not the government or Steam itself, is now deciding what we can and can't buy. This kind of power is a form of digital censorship and is especially concerning since a new rule was recently added to Steam's guidelines that gives them the power to remove content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by our payment processors. The thing is, the Steam situation is just one example of a much bigger problem. It's part of a growing trend of these payment companies censoring or even debanking anything they don't like. Debanking is when banks or payment companies.
Word, we got to get some more Kamala clips so we can use the Osmond phrase of the week. Word count, word count. Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, Alexander X, what up, Playboy? Oh, I thought, I was wondering who that was. That's you, nameless. He said to the chat and instructor on the panel, us, are you just going to send me this joint? Yeah. We review a lot of Osmond stuff over here. Like I said, Osmond is like a temperature check for me for what's for the Z's. In terms of their overall level way of thinking and which way they're leaning politically. And it's looking like the Z's are leaning to the right and conservative, bro.
Companies close accounts or refuse to work with people and businesses.
I don't see how this isn't illegal. I mean, having a bank account is necessary in today's day and age. How the fuck can you just take away somebody's bank account? Like, I mean, really, like that's like taking away a person's internet or somebody's water or something.
Yeah. Right on, Alexander X. Hey, you guys hit the like button.
Off by a star.
All right, let's go.
Thing like that. They do it via terms of service. It should be, having a bank account should be viewed as a utility in the same way that water or internet is a utility. That's really what I think.
Reasons that aren't actually about money. The censorship we're seeing on platforms like Steam is very similar to how banks debank people. The payment processors are essentially saying, if you don't remove this content, we will stop doing business with you, which means you can't get paid. This is a direct financial threat. It's what itch.io stated when they said they had
like banking is, I mean, there's no universe where you can imagine that banking is not an essential service. In the year 2025, it is an essential service and it needs to be guaranteed for everybody.
To act urgently to protect the platform's core payment infrastructure.
Everybody.
And
also, shout out to Alexander again. Yeah, you guys, somebody hit the like button.
Off by a star.
All right, let's go.
So when Valve said if they didn't remove the games, it would prevent customers from buying games and content across Steam.
That's right.
The White House announcement calls this politicized or unlawful debanking and highlights how some financial institutions have restricted access.
The person making this video is making a slight correlation error, even though in effect they're right. Trump is mainly doing this to avoid, like Nick Fuentes is the best example of this, right? Wow, what a surprise that Nick Fuentes can't get a bank account. Who could have guessed? But he should be able to get a bank account. He can get an internet subscription. He can get water. He can get electricity. He should be able to get a bank account, even if the people at the banks don't like him, because he's a gay Nazi. Well, what's the logic that a gay Nazi can use the internet?
Because he's a gay Nazi. I wasn't expecting that. Yo, he said because he's a gay Nazi. I wasn't expecting that. Nameless says men 30 and younger are going moderate and right. Women in the same bracket are going left. Fact. It's just so happens that that this has been playing out in gaming big time. Machismo. No, that's a fact. Here's the thing. We were seeing a lot of like the soft and weird liberal Gen Zers and everything. But that was primarily what we were seeing projected by the left. Until I started reviewing like a lot of I started watching like a lot of Twitch content because I'll be content farming and shit. And I don't even know how I stumbled across Osmond. You guys wouldn't believe these streamers' numbers. Like these guys get like 10,000 people in streams and stuff. Like they're doing ridiculous numbers. But Osmond in particular, and I realized he wasn't just reviewing gaming content. He was, doing the news and stuff too. And I started being like, oh, he's coming to a lot of the same conclusions I'm coming to. And I'm looking at his audience and I'm like, these has got to be Z's. And then what else happened? The Haley Bailey DDG thing happened. And then I'm listening to DDG and I don't think that he watches red pill content. I mean, I think they're busy being streamers. But a lot of the conclusions he was coming to, like on his streams with regard to the event and her taking his kid and everything else like that, and him be like, oh, I'm not going to play these games. You're going to get the lawyers involved. I'm like, oh, that's based red pill shit. And just like, so that's the argument. If you look at my my shorts feed, you'll see that I'm purposely posting DDG content and Kai Sanat and stuff, stuff that, it's not, that's within within our branding. And that's purposely to funnel that 18 to 25 audience over, further down the rabbit hole. And because a lot of these Twitch streamers are becoming really based. And like I said, I don't think that they're ingesting a ton of red pill content. I've made a statement again and again and again and again that if you're a male dating over here in the US, unless you're just a complete sock puppet, all roads lead to some variation of the manosphere, especially if you're dealing with a modern Western woman, because it's a pattern recognition thing. The same series of events are going to happen to you, and you're going to get red pill one way or another, whether you like it or not. Namely, International Quiet Storm says, Nameless is on to something. Gen Z is causing a huge divide up this decade. Men those ages are focusing on self-building. Women are in the streets and Planned Parenthood. Yeah, it's going to get terribly worse, especially as the influence of this space grows. And if I'm telling you right now, it's looking like Vance 2028 with this redistricting going on by the Republicans for the midterms. It's looking like we're going to hold on to the House and the Senate. That's full steam away from MAGA agenda. There's a very good chance Vance is going to win 2028. The social fabric of this country is going to be completely terraformed in this next decade. And if this is the direction things are going, we're watching the Democratic Party implode right now. They've got no policy, no platform. They're going further to the left. Like they're full communists at this point. Nobody's with that trans shit, like not in mass. I mean, it's a good chance Democrats might be out of power for the next decade or so. And if that's the case, the offshoot of this MAGA movement is going to completely reshape the social fabric of the country. Quiet Storm said, we talked about this in Dr. Ron Neal's stream tonight. Oh, yeah, I seen Ron was on. That's actually why I was on it like a little late. I was watching some of his joint. I was like, I got to go on. You know what I'm saying? Because the combo started getting good. And he's right about what he was talking about tonight, too, with the Nick Fuentes and what he was saying about the delineation. Dr. Ron, be on it, man. Who is the Democratic front runner right now? Is there one at all? They're busy eating themselves. And this Trump pulled this 4-dimensional chess move with the listen, man, this is what I be talking about. They put Crockett out there to be the minstrel show, and Trump was like, I ain't going back and forth with you, chick. You low IQ. Hey, can we just redistrict her out of her seat? You know what I'm saying? We ain't even gonna wait till the midterms. How we get her up out of here? You know what I'm saying? Power moves. Let's go.
Can't have a bank account. Well, I feel like you should either be able to. Okay, so it should be either be both or neither, right? It doesn't even make sense. Yeah, what is this? You shouldn't have either. I think you should just. I think that unless you're breaking the law, you should be able to get the service. That's what I think. I think it's actually that simple.
Access to services on the basis of political or religious beliefs, or
keep politics out of utilities. Yeah, exactly. What about registered sex offenders? Are you really trying to draw a correlation between a person who has political views that are generally seen as unfavorable and a literal sex offender? Go back to Reddit. You fucking retard. Get out of here. You're so dumb. You're the biggest dumb idiot I've seen today. And I looked in a mirror today. That's bad.
Business activities. So this isn't just about video games. Something similar has happened to cryptocurrency companies, legal gun stores, and even anime stores. The White House announcement points to other examples as well, such as when federal regulators suggested banks flag individuals who made transactions related to companies like Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah, and again, like this is, you read this, state capital, federal government suggested institutions flag individuals. Like, in my opinion, I think that what they need to do, this is what I would do. If I was in the federal government, I would figure out who was the one that actually made this suggestion. And then I would charge them for voter intimidation, political intimidation, or something like that. Political prosecution. And that's what I would do. Like, one thing... Like, if I ever became president, my biggest inhibitor would be the 8th Amendment. Let me just say that. The fact that they let this shit go on is embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. That's the one for cruel and unusual punishment. That's, yeah. Yes.
Networks are essentially the roads of the digital economy. By controlling these roads, these companies can stop anyone they disagree with from doing business, even if they haven't broken any real laws. So to fight back against this, President Trump has signed a new executive order called Guaranteeing Fair Banking for All Americans. This is a direct response to what the president's office...
The first gamer president. Gentlemen, we're fucking back. I never thought that in our darkest hour, when our anime, cat girl, incest, waifu video games were being taken away from us, our knight in shining armor would be a orange 79-year-old man who says everything's computer when he steps into a Tesla. I would have never expected this. Not in a million fucking years. It's Baron pulling the strings. So dad, so there's like, okay, you know, like those like cartoons from Japan? Yeah. Okay, so they're making some of them against the law because it's like,
Yo, he's joking, but he might actually be right. This might be Barron pulling the strings. Barron's the one that got him to go on Rogan and Aiden Ross and everything. Hypothetically, Barron won him the election. You think Trump was watching streamers? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's right. Barron might actually be pulling the strings. Like, Dad, you might want to take a look at this.
Fucking weird, right? So, like, can you make a law against not doing that? Because there's a lot of guys on the internet that are mad because they like those cartoons, but then the Visa doesn't want them to have the cartoons, so we got to take them away. Yeah, Barron wanted to play a Gooner game. Maybe you're right, man.
It's called systemic abuses by financial institutions that undermine free expression and economic opportunity. This new rule tells federal groups that watch over banks to stop using vague reasons like reputational risk in their guidance and manuals.
Wow, bro, he just puts this in. He just goes and says it. You know what they've got to do, though? We've got to see if Nick Fuentes can make a fucking account. Because if he can't make an account, they're not following the law. That's what I think. Yep.
Facts. Squire Storm. Who else got the closest ear to the president besides his son? Facts.
Yep, they've got 6 months. I don't understand. Does this executive order mean that payment processors can't threaten online stores anymore? So if you look at this right here, remove the use of reputational risk. So basically what he did is that he went after banks for removing conservatives. But what he did is that he did it in an overarching way and in a way that is so categorical that it will affect also Steam and other payment processors as well. So, and this is from the White House. I'll read this right here. Removing reputation risk. Within 180 days of the date of this order, each appropriate federal banking regulator shall, to the greatest extent permitted by law, remove the use of reputational risk or equivalent concepts that could result in politicized or unlawful debanking, as well as any other considerations that could be used to engage in such debanking from their guidance documents, manuals, and other materials. This is massively overreaching in a good way, in a massive way. Like, this isn't just about conservatives. He actually saved gamers. Straight up. They don't define other? Exactly. That means that it means whatever the fuck they want it to.
And broad strokes here. With this, he actually saved gamers phrase. That spreads over into the manosphere because we've been covering these manosphere hit pieces. And whether the one recently put out by PBS, CNN just did another big one. So they tie manosphere proper, which affects us because we're a black manosphere, to gaming, to the gaming community. They tie those things together, all the think tanks and everything, and with them trying to censor the gaming communities, and the PBS one we just watched said that they set up fake gamer profiles and went in there and went into chat rooms, monitored people's chat rooms and everything of that sort. So then protections put on the gaming community directly or indirectly translate to protections to manosphere content creators, etc. Because how onerous these broad sweeping allegations and legislation they put out to punish and stamp down on things happen. But like I said, with this this banking protection thing, I think that that plays out to although demonetization is Google's a private company. I mean, yeah, they're a private company even though they're traded publicly. But I think that was going to just be like the beginning. We saw how things were playing out under the Biden administration. Had Kamala gotten in, it would have been way worse.
To me. Yeah, we need to debank to save our democracy. Yes, the most important thing to save democracy is to prevent people from being able to vote.
See, yeah, I didn't know he was going to say that. Yeah, we need to debank to save the democracy. Yeah, it would have been a phrase, some sort of phraseology like that.
And so anyway, but what if a company is a foreign one? Will that work on foreign companies? Absolutely. Because if a company wants to do business in the United States, it has to adhere to United States laws when it's dealing with United States citizens. And if it doesn't do that, then it has a problem. That's the way it works. I mean, and that's the way it should work, by the way. If you want to do business in a country, you have to follow the country's laws. Duh, of course. I think Trump watches your stream. I don't know. I mean, I
bet you Barron does. I bet you Barron does.
I'm happy to see this. I'll tell you that. I hope Valve takes down the guideline before people backlash because it's still keeping it. Well, they're going to keep it for a while because stuff like this realistically will take probably a year to resolve. But after that, it'll be over. The removal of such concepts shall be made clear by each appropriate federal banking regulator through formal guidance to their examiners. This is massive. Like this doesn't just affect conservatives. This affects everything.
The order is specific, stating that regulators must remove the use of reputational risk or equivalent concepts that could result in politicized or unlawful debanking. From now on, banks must make their decisions based on clear financial reasons. The order also directs federal banking regulators to review banks for any past or current policies that encourage politicized or unlawful debanking and to take action, including charging a fine. The ultimate goal of this order, as stated by the White House, is to ensure that no American should be denied access to financial services because of their beliefs, affiliations,
or political
views. This is meant to...
That's a beliefs or affiliations. If someone...
Bang, that affects us. Beliefs or affiliations or political views. And then you better believe the way, this sort of thing would have ended up extended to, red pill content creators, and I use that in the broadest sense of the term. Yo, salute Irvin Reed. Oh, and there you go, right there. 7 days, 7 nights. Demon Time takes flight. Woo! Ric Flair. Man, that's a whole fact though. It's looking like it's going to be Irvin Reed and Mr. O. We're going to do a Demon Time review.
Off by a star.
Denzel, before you leave, can you hit us off with that King Kong line?
King Kong, I'm putting cases on all you. Can you curse on? You can't curse on it, can you?
No, you can't.
I'm putting cases. You'll be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get shoot program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. You think you can do this to me, Shaq? You think you can do this to me?
One believes in incest. That is your right as an American. That's right. If you believe in incest anime games, that is your right. Reputation equals financial stake loophole, I bet. No, it won't matter because they can easily... The thing is that in order to do that, they would have to provide a parameter for it. And then by doing so, they would reveal that they're not actually upholding that law or that rule. That it wouldn't work.
To prevent any financial unfair treatment and give fair access to banking for all legal businesses and people. So how does this new order connect?
Wait, hold up. Just a minute. I want to read that again. Banking decisions must instead be made on the basis of individualized, objective, and risk-based analyses. There it is. Banking is not being used as a tool to inhibit such beliefs, affiliations, or political views. Done.
So how does this new order connect directly to our problem on Steam? This is where the details of how payments work become really important. As Valve confirmed in their response, MasterCard didn't go directly to Valve and tell them to remove the games. MasterCard communicated with acquiring banks. These are the banks that handle the money for businesses like Steam. MasterCard cited one of its rules, Rule 5.12.7, which says that a business can't process transactions that may damage the goodwill.
See, isn't this crazy how you can just literally make a law and just invalidate their terms of service and tell them what to do? Isn't it crazy how you can just do that? You don't have to listen to these fucking retards at all. Yeah, you just get enough people together and then take their rights away. Problem solved. Fuck them.
The corporation or reflect negatively on the marks. It's important to know that Visa has a very similar rule, just showing how this is a widespread issue across the payment industry. This is a perfect example of a vague reputational risk clause. MasterCard didn't have to prove the games were illegal, just that they were a risk to their brand. This was in response to a small number of complaints from the activist group Collective Shout. The acquiring banks, fearing that they would lose their partnership with a major payment network, then pressured Valve to remove the games. Valve complied, which is why they weren't fully debanked. So the executive order aims to stop this by forcing financial institutions to justify their decisions based on individual, objective, and risk-based analysis. The key difference is simple. Risk-based analysis is about measurable financial threats. Reputational risk is about feelings and public opinion. The new
Hoes mad. Yep. Hoes mad. Complete Karen annihilation. I've been waiting on this for a while.
Executive order is designed to stop financial companies from using the second one as an excuse to shut down legal businesses. This could protect game developers from being unfairly censored. So what can we expect now? While this executive order is a major step, it has its limitations. Some might argue that it doesn't mean much because it can't directly regulate companies like MasterCard or Visa. However, the executive
just do another one. If they think they're going to get around it, just do another one. Just do that. Yes, make another rule. Yeah, the thing is that, it gives them an out too. Exactly. And it's so easy. Like, everybody's like, oh, well, what if they try to get around it? Yeah, he's incorrect about reputational risk. I have experience in compliance for financial institution. Reputational risk is quite complicated, but not really hard to do analysis and state as fact. I think that you can easily explain reputational risk in terms of a financial analysis. I don't think that this law is against that. This law, like, whenever you're talking about reputational risk, he's talking explicitly about making subjective judgments based on cultural criteria. It's not what we're not talking about, like, oh wow, somebody doesn't want to do banking for Tren de Aragua, or they don't want to do banking for a cartel. Yeah, okay, that's fine, because you can clearly... Actually, you know what? They probably do. I bet those guys pay their shit on time. I do. I bet they never fuck that up. But let's say it's some other group of clowns that is doing it wrong. Yeah, they do? Of course they do. They have to. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Of course, yeah, 100% they would. Yeah, I mean, again, like, you know this if you've done anything illegal. Like, there's a level of trust that you exist on, and the level of trust that you have to exist on whenever you're doing shit that's illegal 3 or 4 levels higher. So yeah, it's probably no issue at all. Anyway, everybody learned from Al Capone. Yeah. And I mean, look, that's just how it is. They don't want Capone. Yeah, exactly. My point is, though, is that we're not talking about a financial probability calculator for chargebacks or refunds. I think that you and I would both agree that that's a valid reason to debank somebody because they're effectively using your service in a bad way. But I think that what this is clearly about is it's about social pressures for cultural decisions. That's really what's going on here. Obviously, that's what's going on here.
Off by a star.
Hold up, Keisha. I'll call you back. What the fuck you want?
Hi, ma'am. You've been drafted.
Yeah, fucking right, bitch. I ain't ever opening the damn door for no white person ever again. Fuck that dude, Brad or Billy or dipshit, whatever the fuck. Can't believe they got my pretty ass out here going to boot camp. They done got me all the way fucked up.
Michael Hunt, Chase A. Deke, or Attic. Sorry, Shanika Manning?
It's Shaniqua, bitch. I know damn well that you know who the fuck I am.
Excuse me, you need to calm the fuck down, Sharkeisha. This isn't your hood-ass ratchet nail salon. You ain't with your fucking Cheeto finger-licking bitches here, okay?
Damn, girl, this actually feels kind of good.
Every step this year. In January, it peaked before the S&P. It bottomed before the S&P in April. In May, a month ahead of the
change. Bitcoin higher.
Yo, StreamYard muted me like a motherfucker. I'm up here talking. I was saying, that was that was Quiet Storm's drop. I owed him a drop. No, let's do the crypto segment.
By about 1%, while Ethereum is up more than 2%. That could be a good sign for stocks. That's according to my next guest, who says Bitcoin is now a leading indicator. Joining me now is Tom Lee, head of research at Fundstrat and a CNBC contributor. It's so good to have you here on set. Welcome.
Yeah, great to see you, Morgan.
Let's start right there. Bitcoin is a leading indicator. What's it indicating now?
Well, Bitcoin has been 1 month ahead of the S&P at every step this year. In January, it peaked before the S&P. It bottomed before the S&P in April. It made a new high in May, a month ahead of the S&P. And in early July, on July 9th, Bitcoin had a breakaway upside move, gaining more than 10%. That means that in this month, I think the S&P is going to have a breakaway move to the upside, towards 6,600.
Interesting, which sort of takes us to where you think the S&P is going to be priced for the year.
Well, I think that at least 6,600 is a minimum, because if we're making 6,600 in the next few weeks, then I think that probably 7,000 is a level we could touch by the end of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
What propels us to that?
Well, I think that 3 things are happening. One is the economy has survived tariff Armageddon, and it's probably strengthening because we know the ISM's been stuck below 30 or 50 for 30 months now. So finally, ISM could go above 50. The second is that we're getting closer to the Fed making a dovish pivot. I mean, they've been on hold for a long time, similar to how Kelly's birth is on pause, you know. But that I think leads to a re-rate of multiples. And the third is that I think sentiment's still quite bearish. You know, I think there's many of our clients that think we're going to have a recession because of the tariffs that started on August 1st. But I think businesses are ready to actually get through that. And that sentiment collapsing actually helps PEs.
Okay. Let's talk about Ethereum, because I know you're very bullish on that as well. We'll get into Bitmine in a second too, but Ethereum specifically, why is this something you need to hold in your portfolio?
Well, to me, Ethereum's having its Bitcoin 2017 moment again. And to give perspective, in 2017, Bitcoin was under 1,000, but that was the year when Wall Street discovered that the narrative of Bitcoin is digital gold, and Bitcoin has gone to 120,000 now. So 120 times increase. In 2025, a couple things are happening around Ethereum. The first is the Genius Act is now making stable coins kind of green lighted, which is the ChatGPT moment for crypto, but it needs a smart contract. So it doesn't work on Bitcoin. The second is the SEC is pushing forward with Project Crypto, which is actually asking Wall Street to move the entire financial system onto the blockchain. Ethereum is the preferred choice for Wall Street because it's had zero downtime since inception, matching what the banks want, 100% uptime. It's also the most legally compliant and secure blockchain because it's recognized in the US and it's the second largest blockchain. And the third is almost all of it is taking place on Ethereum. JP Morgan's building their stablecoin on Ethereum. Robinhood is tokenizing on Ethereum. You know, the custody banks are doing it on Ethereum. So it's really where Wall Street meets, but that's also where AI is meeting crypto. Because as you know, as we tokenize and move towards robots, you need a token economy to control them, which is taking place on Ethereum.
And which is why you're now.
See, I didn't know the AI projects were tokenizing on Ethereum. That's news to me. All right. If that's the case, he's right then. Ethereum is going to boom. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know about the tokenizing with AI on the Ethereum blockchain.
Now the chair of Bitmine, which is looking to build out this treasury of Ethereum, not so differently than we've seen Michael Saylor do with Bitcoin at Strategy.
Yes, that's right. So I think that MicroStrategy has written the playbook for what a Bitcoin treasury is. And now he's so big, he has a sovereign put, right? He has 600,000 Bitcoin. Any nation that wants to get 1 million Bitcoin probably thinks it's cheaper to buy MicroStrategy. The Ethereum treasury model, which is we're trying to be the MicroStrategy of Ethereum, works similarly, but we're at the earliest stages because if this is the 2017 moment for Ethereum at 3,700, it could make a move to 30,000 or more. On top of that, Ethereum pays you for providing network security by staking. That's a 3% yield. So Bitmine owns over $3 billion worth of Ethereum. When we start staking and it's legally compliant, all within the US, that's more than $100 million of revenue. I'm sorry, of net income. So it's a profitable treasury company. And we've been able to grow our holdings of Ethereum from roughly $4 per share in 30 days ago to over $25 today. So it's adding about 80 cents to $1 worth of ETH every day.
Interesting. I mean, when I think about Strategy, it is really kind of, it's the whale in the Bitcoin market just because they have been buying up so much Bitcoin. So if Bitmine is taking a similar approach to Ethereum, where do you see prices for Ether going?
Well, I looked at some research from Sean Farrell, who's our head of digital asset strategy, and he put out a presentation about Ethereum today. So he thinks the ratio of Ethereum to Bitcoin could go back to its 2021 highs, which is about 0.14. That would value Ethereum today at around 16,000, and it's currently 3,700. So he's just saying Bitcoin ratio versus ETH, let's get back to where it was 5 years ago, which makes sense because it's a better story today than it was in 2021. And that gets you, close to 16,000.
Nice. All right. So maybe y'all want to double down on Ethereum. All right. We're at the 1 hour, 12 minute mark. All right. We're blowing through these. What do I got next? Oh, here we go. Let's do the jobs correction report. This is Quiet Storm sent me this the other day. So we had those funky those funky job numbers under the Biden administration, and Trump just released jobs numbers. Yo, Saul in the building. What up? What up? What up? What up? I think he was over in Ron Neal's chat too. I was there earlier before I went on. I was watching something. That's why I went on late.
Off by a star.
All right, bet. Let's go. Let's look at these. This is Trump going over. Breaker. Trump announces the corrected jobs numbers. Quiet Storm sent me this.
Just released. And then we're going over and we're going to do Purple Heart. We have some incredible, brave people that I look forward to. So we're going to do that right after this. Steve, could you say a few words about the various charts?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I called the president because I had some very good news from some new data that we've been able to put together that no one has ever seen before. And I'll just very quickly go through these. So I was telling the president that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by one.
Yeah, and Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, who, by the way, was a DEI woman. So, surprise, surprise, the numbers were wrong.
0.5 million jobs. Mr. President, that's a gigantic error. And I don't know if she's, I'm not.
It might not have been an error. That's the bad part. If it was an error, it would be one thing. I don't think it's an error. I think they did it purposely.
Whether that, you may well be right, but even if it wasn't purposefully, it's incompetence.
Right.
Okay. So 1.5 million jobs overestimated. We have access to the some data that no one else does on what has happened month by month with median household income. This is based on unpublished Census Bureau data. It will be released sometime in the next 6 months, but we get an advanced look at it. And so I was telling the president in his first 5 months in office, starting in January through the end of June, the average median household income adjusted for inflation for the average family in America is already up $1,174. That's
an incredible number.
Yeah.
Just came out.
Just came out. So that's a giant gain.
And if I would have said this, nobody would have believed it. There's your number. We're doing well.
So the next one compares, we finally have the 2024 data on what happened with real family income in the United States. And so what I did was I compared the record in Donald Trump's first term with the Joe Biden first term. And you can see that, by the way, these dotted lines here, Mr. President, that's COVID. So if it had not been for COVID, these numbers would have been substantially better. But even taking account President Trump's last year in 2020, we saw a $6,400 real after inflation gain in income for the average family. And that compares with Joe Biden, which was a measly $551. So, Mr. President, you gain 10 times more income for the average family than Joe Biden is because of your policies.
And that's taken into consideration COVID, which a lot of times you don't have to do that. But I'm very glad you did.
We're over almost 8,000 until.
Look at that number.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we looked at, which families did the best. And we have data from the Census Bureau that shows by income percentage. So the 25th percentile is the lowest income, 75th percentile is the highest income. And what I find fascinating about this, Mr. President, is every income group did better. The red is President Trump, the blue is President Biden. Every single income group did better under President Trump.
And that was the sentiment with everybody saying, like, yo, we was eating under Trump. Like the Democrats tried to push the narrative on everybody, and everybody was like, yo, I know how much money I had in my pocket under the Trump administration. I mean, bro, I've been in banking for 13 years. I'm not in banking now. And that happened under the Biden administration. He killed the banks. He just killed everything. Like, they utterly destroyed the economy.
But what's really amazing is look what happened under Biden. the lowest income group lost income under Biden. They were poor 4 years after Biden's presidency. No gain virtually whatsoever for the middle class. And the rich was the only group that did better under Biden, which is ironic because Biden keeps saying he was trying to get rid of income inequality. He made income inequality worse.
That's a fact, exactly. Under Biden, the only people that actually made money were the super wealthy. Although their talking point is Trump's trying to make the billionaires rich. Bro, everything that the Democrats are the utter party of projection. I said that the other night. And it's not ironic that they're primarily a women's party. And they take no accountability.
It's not better. It was President Trump that reduced income inequality.
These numbers just came out, by the way.
And then finally, these are the numbers just I just showed you in percentage terms. Mr. President, these are the numbers in dollar terms. So even the lowest income, 25th percent, gained about $4,000 in income. That's a lot for a lower income family. $6,400 for the middle class and almost $10,000 for the richest. So you can see every income group did better.
See that? You see, look at this one on the far left. That's the lowest income bracket. Look at how much they grew in the red compared to the blue. That's that's for the poorest people in the country. Look at and this chart says it all. Look at how much the lowest income group grew under the blue, under the Democrats. They're the party of slavery, bro. And look at it this way. We'll use this analogy. Keisha is the biggest voting bloc at over 80% for the Democrats. And look at what they've done to the black community. So is it any wonder that they're supporting the party that creates the lowest growth for the lowest income sector, which they are in? Yo, the brothers who backed the Trump play, bro, we're on the right side of history.
Under Trump than Biden by a wide margin. That's the story.
I think when you look at them, they're all something, but this one chart really says it better than anything. If you look at this is great, but this chart is pretty amazing right here. All new numbers. Okay, so we're going to go now over to East Room, and we're going to celebrate some very brave people with the Purple Hearts. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, just to follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved.
Mr. President, is your deadline for Vladimir Putin agreeing to a ceasefire still stand tomorrow? Is that fluid now that the talks are?
Say it, what?
Is your deadline still standing for Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire tomorrow, or is that fluid now?
It's going to be up to him. We're gonna see what he has to say. It's going to be up to him. Very disappointed. Yeah.
Does Putin have to meet with Zelensky in order and before you and Putin have to meet? Or
No.
Are you
So you're willing to, that's actually important because President Putin said this morning he was pretty dismissive of this idea of meeting with President
Who was?
Zelensky. President Putin was.
I don't know. I didn't hear
For you
him.
to meet with him, he doesn't have to agree to meet with Zelensky. Is that what you're saying?
No, he doesn't. No.
So when do you think that meeting?
They would like to meet with me, and I'll do whatever I can to stop the killing. So last month, they lost 14,000 people killed last month. Every week is 4,000 or 5,000 people. So I don't like long waits. I think it's a shame. And they're mostly soldiers. They're Ukrainian and Russian soldiers, and some people from the cities where, missiles are lobbed in and you'll lose 35, 40 people a night, which is terrible. But no, mostly it's soldiers. And you're talking about, on average, 20,000 a month. 20,000 people are dying a month, young generally young people, soldiers. We're going to, speaking about soldiers, we'll see you over for Purple Heart. Thank you.
All right, but that's our segment on that. Irvin Reed says, anybody drop their gas price today? Ohio about to dip below $1.99. That's crazy. Kwame Kaiju says, Keisha, it's comfortable at the bottom. That is a whole fact, though. Let's run through these last two. We're at the 1 hour 23 minute mark. I put a poll in the chat about Trump's first 200 days. So let's hear it directly from the horse's mouth. How Trump feels about his first 200 days. I think they've been phenomenal. Like I said, we covered election night live here on the channel. I think everybody up on the internet was up. They was trying to make sure that the election didn't get stole this time. And Wrench Turner said it that night that the brothers that backed this Trump play and had the conversations leading up to the election that we were on the right side of history, and that when we look back, we were going to see it. This first 200 days, and in terms of accomplishments and things that are either directly or indirectly affect the FBA black man, the productive black man in a positive way, we've got a nice little checklist brewing up. So let's hear it from the horse's mouth about his first 200 days.
Mr. President, next week we will mark 200 days, your first 200 days in office. What are you most proud of?
Maybe the fact that we've done so much, because I know you're having a hard time picking them, but the bill is the biggest bill ever passed in Congress, and it gives you so many things. Not only the biggest tax cuts, but wait till you see the job numbers. And think of this: no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors and things. I mean, the numbers are staggering. No tips on overtime, no tax on overtime. The way it looks, one of the things we did, it's like that bill is so full of goodies for people. You go out, buy a car, you could never deduct interest. If you're a wealthy person, you're allowed deductions. If you're a middle income person or whatever, you go buy a car, you borrow money from a bank, we're letting you deduct your interest payments from taxes.
And that's when I keep saying that Trump's like the working man's billionaire. He's like a working class billionaire. We just saw the charts about the growth of the lowest income bracket under the Democrats versus, under Biden versus Trump's first term. You see how massive that was? Same thing for the middle class. And I was saying this prior to the bill, big, beautiful bill being passed, and then the Democrats pushing back on it with regard to some of the pork and the spending. And I was saying, like, okay, every bill's got that. And there's no problem passing it when it's all the breaks for the upper echelon. This is the first bill, and I don't know how many presidential terms, where the bulk of a lot of the line items are to benefit working class and lower income people. And this is the bill that they decide to fight against. They pork up everything else. Let this bill pass with the biggest tax cuts for the middle class and the lower class. Like, there's direct line items in there for that sector of the economy. And y'all go back and make amendments to the budget after the midterms. But and also codify those earlier tax cuts, the 2016 tax cuts that Trump put in, and codified them into law because they were about to expire. So you actively had the Democrats working against the middle class.
We have so many things in that bill and so many things health related. And I think it's maybe one of the things I'm most proud. But I think most proud of that we've been able to do so much in so little time.
Is there something in the next 200 days that you absolutely want to get done?
I want to put the things that we've gotten for the people of this country in a bill that was shocking that we were able to get it. Most people thought it would never pass. You know, they thought you'd have to do it in 8 or 9 different bills, and you'd never be able to do that because there's nothing in a lot of those bills for anybody to approve. You'd never get them approved. So the concept was there's something in this for everybody. I want to really implement a lot of the things that we had. Look, we want to have a safe country. We want to get rid of crime. We have to bring back a lot of very, very bad people that were put here by the Biden administration. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing so much on health. We're bringing back so many different things. Bobby Kennedy's doing such a great job. But we have, I want to implement many of the things that we have in the bill that just got passed, that frankly was passed where people never believed it was possible to get it done. We got all those things done. Now I want to implement them.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, bet. Red Sigma with the $2 super chat. He says, at work watching Graveyard Shift. Yes, sir.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all you hoes.
And Irv Reed with the $5 super chat. He says, amazing how as the alien numbers drop, more help wanted signs have gone up. Yo, that's a whole fact though, bro. And the brothers' employment numbers are going up, and the Keisha's unemployment numbers are going up. Funny how that work, huh?
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all you hoes.
All right, final segment. We are at the 1 hour and 30-minute mark. So this is going to be, this is going to touch on a couple things, talking points that we circulate over here. This will be one, a midterm segment. Shout out to Saul, March to the midterms, because the midterms are important. And I'm happy to say that this is the most conversation surrounding midterms that I've seen being had by black men in decades. That indicates our level of political engagement, and it indicates to some degree a level of the raising of the political IQ, which will in turn reap benefits for us in the long run. If we can maintain this momentum. And also, some by the numbers and by with regard to census, because one of the most important things that Trump's doing with the census, two things. One, because before it would just be counting the numbers. So now them asking, are you, your nationality, are you a U.S. citizen? So that that means illegals will not be counted in the census. So that destroys the entire sanctuary city policy. And here's another thing. It's going to help with exit polling, and it's going to actually help with us getting an idea with regard to Democrat numbers, because they're going to be delineating FBAs. from to a large degree. You know, because if you're African, et cetera, some variation of that is going to be played out in the census. So we're going to get real accurate numbers now. And that's how that's playing out in the midterms, and also with this new redistricting in several of the states. We're going to see more and more of the country, I believe, turn red. Red Sigma said the ladies are having trouble with their new reality. OF ain't paying much. Hell yeah, unless you're Lil Tay. Irvin Reed says black men are following politics like, yeah, exactly, like they do Shadir Sanders. Quiet Storm says, I'm still annoyed by them job numbers. That was bullshit. My military retirement just went up. And of course, I made more money this past month. Compliments to Trump. No tax on overtime. And international, nobody paying for a 35-year-old straggle OnlyFans. Oh man, y'all dudes are stupid. Yo, Trump was like this at the federal government with them DEI jobs.
Denzel, before you leave, can you hit us off with that King Kong line?
King Kong, I'm putting cases on all you. Can you curse on? You can't curse on it, can you?
No, you can't.
I'm putting cases. You'll be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get shoot program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. You think you can do this to me, Shaq? You think you can do this to me?
Yo, Theo Wife in the building. Salute, Sensei. Theo Wife in the building.
Off by a star.
I be saying, I like what you posting on Facebook, man. And it's looking like Brazil's official, Sao Paulo. I might have to fly down there, come see you, man. Have to fly down there, come see you. I've been talking about you ever since old boy posted his job offer in the group for the $175K, and I was saying that Quiet Storm told me that he gave his testimony in class. I didn't get to hear it, but he said that he failed the SAA 8 times, and I was saying, damn, I really needed to hear that, because I've been really pressed about passing it. So I've been promoting the conclave and telling brothers, man, get in Theo's class, man. You gotta see it to believe it, man. The level of support and really turning out results like you just wouldn't believe. And like I said, no matter what industry you were in, I think it's Jay Remo. It might be Jay Remo. He was a carpenter, and he's like one of the best in the class. Man, like I said, hearing that old boy failed 8 times, man, like I said, it kept me it put a spark under me with the motivation. You seen I posted on Facebook me drawing out my system design joints for the AWS off of the Stephen Marek slides from the Udemy class. And shout out to Dak Decedent. He's been meeting with me every Thursday morning, going over exam questions and walking me through stuff. And Phil was in the chat that night. Dak was like, "Yo, man, I'll help you study for the exam." Dak's already employed as an engineer. He just passed his SAP. But that's the level of support in the group. So no matter where you're at and however long it's taking you, it's a marathon. Just stick with it. Now, Theo says, once you start, when you get into class, like, the class isn't the be all end all. Like, it's going to be a lifetime commitment to learning. And it's true. And I'll say the other thing, too, is like, I was saying this the other night, when you go out and you study, you embark on this, be prepared to lose friends and stuff like that, too, because when you start leveling up, like, people will know. And odd little things will just start happening to derail you. Stay the course. Quiet Storm said, I've been mad dying how Theo chose the Black IT network. He make people in there big mad. Yeah, man. I mean, Theo the only one putting numbers on the board. That is what it is. Cloud Road, Passport Bros forever. Yeah, F all my friends. Hell yeah. But nah, San Paulo, man, I fly down there, come see you, man. You know what I'm saying? Between Southeast Asia and South America, that's basically stomping grounds. Now, I got Peru under my belt. I like it down here. You know what it is. So you said Trump's is F all these 304s. Hell yeah.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do.
All right, so let's get to our final segment with this political warfare for the census and the midterms, and let's have old boy break it down.
Maybe the way we drew the districts to represent the United States of America should only include the calculations of people who belong in the United States of America. Trump put out on Truth earlier today, quote, I have instructed our Department of Commerce to immediately begin working on a new and highly accurate census. People who are in our country illegally will not be counted in the census. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I mean, who could argue with that? Oh, that's right. Democrats would definitely argue that. All of a sudden, they are seemingly trying to fall back and say that they care about the Constitution.
The problem for President Trump here is that the Constitution specifically dictates how the census plays itself out every 10 years and the way and the form and fashion of the way that people in this country are counted and actually who is counted. So this isn't something that he can just change via social media posts. It actually would be a much more involved process.
Actually, it's at least every 10 years. It can be done more often. Doesn't say anything about that. And you want to know why these Democrats are so bent out of shape? Because Democrats have been using illegal immigrants to prop up their congressional districts for like ever. Look, I'll explain how between this and gerrymandering, Democrats are essentially keeping as much as 30 House seats from Republicans every election cycle. And again, this is similar to the argument for birthright citizenship because it's linguistics. How is it written? Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, quote, representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included within this union according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons. So, does this apply to people who are here illegally? I fall on the same side as Trump is. If you're not supposed to be here, why should you be counted in the apportionment of U.S. representation? This is what I admire about Donald Trump. He just does stuff, okay? See what happens. This is what Democrats do. They just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what happens. One of the two options here, in worst case scenario, the courts say, no, you have to count illegals, okay? Nothing changes. Best case scenario, courts say, yeah, illegals shouldn't count in our census, and Republicans pick up like 20 seats from it. Look, if I break into your home, pay none of the taxes, can I claim residency in your home in that town, vote in your local elections, and have my kids attend public schools, town recreation, other services, and get all the benefits of living there? No, that's not how it works. So why should that apply to our congressional districts? Including illegals in the apportionment of the census is essentially giving them a vote. I'll explain why. This is why Democrats have been cramming their big blue cities full of illegals, telling them it's a sanctuary city and all these benefits, and they keep them there and they make them.
Yup, we said that earlier. That was the play all along. We said that earlier. That was the play all along, bro. I mean, I'm glad we took all these months having these conversations leading up to the election, post-election. So now when this stuff is happening, they can't rile us up and have us defending this nonsense that is basically to our own detriment. Like, we've really pulled off a major political coup amongst black men that have been willing to listen by having these conversations. And it's slowly breaking the hold of the Democratic Party on this demographic. Small, although albeit, I see the conversation expanding on a daily basis all across social media. And it's very, you'd be hard pressed to find massive amounts of black men really talking like pro-Democrat policy, especially with regards to things that don't benefit us. I mean, and of the group that are, we already know what they are. So this is a major coup.
Feel nice. Democrats are literally taking their taxpayers' money, importing and housing a bunch of illegals into select, and I say selective, areas to gain congressional seats based on new populations that include the number of illegals. They're not even hiding it. In New York, they literally sent migrants upstate to build up numbers in anticipation of their redistricting fight a few years ago. And why would they do that? Oh, that's why. Because upstate New York is almost all red, but only by a few points. So if you could expand, I don't know, that Albany district right there on the right that's blue just a little bit. I mean, we're talking like 1 to 2%. You could better justify those more red rural counties being redistricted into and including a portion of that dense, deep blue Albany district. See how this works? That would flip an additional congressional seat from red to blue. And this is Democrats. They don't care about the quality of the services provided for actual citizens. Public services have gotten way worse in all of these sanctuary cities. And libs are doubling down because they care more about power than they do about their residents' quality of life. If you recall, in New York, they actually kicked veterans out of housing and gave it to illegals. You see, the reason Democrats are freaking out over this redistricting fight in places like Texas also is because Dems have already pushed the boundaries of redistricting to the absolute max, so much so that even a court in New York shot down one of their last propositions because it was so radical. I think they're maxed out on this. That was their only edge for years because Republicans didn't do this to anywhere near the extent that Democrats did. So if Republicans start playing the same game, Democrats' political aspirations are over. And I've been saying this for years. This mass migration is just an attempt to further that mission.
That's clearly their goal here. What you're talking, they are pulling out all the stops here to save, prevent Democrats from trying to win the House.
Yes, that's the goal. Because you guys, Democrats, have been doing this for years. And it's about time Republicans started calling you out and playing by the same game. And you're nervous because you know it's going to work. Again, if Republicans wise up and do the same redistricting Democrats have been for, the last 30 years, it's an easy loss of 10 seats for Democrats. They're already freaking out about the fact that blue state populations are decreasing because bad policies and red state populations are increasing because of good policies. So if Trump can succeed in making sure only citizens are counted in the census, I mean, look at these numbers. California will be almost 3 million less people. That's a congressional seat for every 750,000 people. They'll likely lose control of between 5 and 8 congressional seats because they will not have the population. They're not just losing 750, boom, just that. No, because when you lose the population, you can't keep more rural districts included in strategic blue lines. So those districts just break up and a lot more go red, not just 1 or 2. New York's going to lose at least 1 just numerically. But again, if you do the same balance of gerrymandering and all this stuff, they could lose 3 to 5. Illinois, New Jersey, Washington, Massachusetts, Maryland, they all have similar situations. And the smaller the state, the more likelihood of losing more than one seat. There are estimated to be 12 to 20 million illegals in America. Estimates say as many as 2 million have self-deported just in the last 6 months. This is why Trump is being so aggressive on getting these illegals out of the country. But if he can eliminate them from the census, there's a real possibility that Democrats never mathematically have a path to taking back the House of Representatives.
Now you see why they fighting ICE so strongly? As Trump wisened up, he was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to deport them fast enough before the midterms. And they're attacking ICE agents and they're ratcheting up the violence. Okay, well, while we're working on deporting them, why don't we just work on not counting them for the census and prior to the midterms, and we'll take it from there. He's attacking them on both sides. He's turning out to be a brilliant tactician. And then bear in mind, Vance was in Congress. So I'm sure a lot of these conversations are between him and Vance with regard to the strategy with Congress being like, okay, well, let's play it this way.
In my lifetime, 60% of illegal immigrants, 11 million by estimates, live in 20 cities, 19 of which are Democrat controlled. Only 37% of Americans, respectively, live in those same 20 cities. So you see how this is impacting the division of our districts. You cannot underestimate the impact of this. Democrats figured out a long time ago a few things. As long as they demonize a Republican, no matter how bad their policies are, their base will always vote for them. Okay, that's the first thing they figured out. And that's what they do because they don't actually have any good policies. Two, if you can't bring the voters to your district, well, bring the district to your voters like they did, as you can see here in Illinois, with ridiculous like banana and splat-shaped districts. And so many other blue states do the same thing. And three, if you don't have enough people to build the district you need, import them. That's what Biden's open border policy was all about. I told you that years ago. It's still true today. And until we get the courts to say, hey, you shouldn't include illegals in the census, we need to let ICE get rid of every single person they can who doesn't belong here.
Bingo. An international quiet storm hit it on the head. Over 800,000 more people have left California since our douchebag governor declared it a sanctuary state. As they should. As they should. All right, gentlemen. That is my time for the evening. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the chat for coming out. Appreciate you guys. I want to thank everyone who supported the stream. Shout out to the great and illustrious Thea Waff. And congratulations on the gentleman, another gentleman in the class receiving an enormous salary offer. And also you finally making the moves to get yourself to Sao Paulo. Let me know what's up, man. I'll catch a flight. I'm in the neighborhood, give or take a country. You know what I mean? Yo, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. It is for the Sunday panel. Another guaranteed to be another good show. And if all goes well, we will have Demon Time reboot next Saturday. Everybody who is a member, once again, a channel member, please email me your Cash App. We're going to probably start sending out Cash Apps maybe in the next 2 weeks to some of the members, and we'll round robin it till we get everybody, and then we'll repeat the process. We just want to say thanks to you guys for supporting the channel the way you have. Like I said, that is my time for the evening. I want to say good night and good luck.
Sorry. Hey, where's Stewie? That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter.
There it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we'll leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it, and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Stewie Griffin. Thanks for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.